This week, New Mexico bird drones, Napoli soccer triumph, new mini-eye jellyfish, and lost map makers.
Over here! Hey, listen up!
Newsy Paloozy! Hello and welcome to Newsy Paloozy, the news pool for curious kids and adults. Hooray, I'm feeling better. I'm your host, Alicia Shankar Prickett, and I'm joined by the one who edits out my coughs when I'm unwell, otherwise known as my mama producer.
All jobs I love. Hello, I'm Lindy Prickett, Leela's mom.
This week we have a rip-roaring episode for you. First, we'll hear all about how taxidermy and spy drone technology join forces in the name of aviation research. Wacky? Yes, it is. We'll also hear the touching tale of triumph from a city soccer team that hasn't won the big championship in 3 decades. Plus, a never-seen-before species of box jellyfish are discovered. You won't believe how many eyes this thing has. And finally, heard the tale of the Spanish map makers who, lost their way? No? Well, stick around and we'll tell you the whole silly story. Alrighty then, let's dive on in. First up, it's the
Big News Story
of the week.
Is it a bird?
Is it a drone?
Or is it a...
Bird drone! Wait, what?
You said it, a bird drone. This is bioinspiration at its most basic form.
Okay, so let's refresh our memory here. Bioinspiration is...
Just like it sounds, letting the biological world stimulate research in non-biological science and technology.
Wait, you mean that taking inspiration from living things, like how fast squid can swim, to make an underwater camera swim like a squid, as we featured way back in episode 22.
Exactly.
Okay, but wait, don't we already know the drones are inspired by birds? Why would this be our big news story of the week?
Because this is beyond a little airplane, aka a drone so small it could be a bird. This story is about a new project in the U.S. state of New Mexico that's using real dead birds and attaching them to drones to help researchers.
Excuse me?
Yeah, scientists at the New Mexico Institute of Mining and Technology are taking birds that have been preserved through taxidermy. You know what that is, right?
Yeah, like preserving the body of animals and then sort of stuffing them.
Yeah, well, it's actually considered an art form. The art of preparing, stuffing, and mounting the skins of animals, and especially vertebrates, so you can keep them for years and years.
Or, attach them to a drone.
Exactly.
Makes total sense. Remind me why this makes total sense.
The researchers are converting the dead birds into drones in order to study flight.
Right.
And they're technically known as biodrones, but I like bird drones better. So, with the help of taxidermists, the researchers are using the body or carcass of a dead bird, along with its feathers, attaching that to the drone with flapping wings like a living bird.
Isn't that also called reverse engineering?
Yes, absolutely. The idea is to send the bird drones out into the wild for research. See, normal drones would probably...
Scare the bejeebers out of a bird.
Yes, but this bioengineered bird drone, well, it has a much better chance of flying right along with the flock, taking footage and recording all sorts of data that can be used to better understand the formation and flight patterns of birds. You know, what they find is even likely to be super useful to the aviation industry.
Oh, because don't they say birds flying together, like in a formation, saves energy? Like they don't have to flap as much or something?
Right. Well done. Your science teacher will be impressed. So it's speculated that less energy is needed when birds fly at optimal spacing, and that they might even communicate with each other about how to get the most effective flying positions.
To take advantage of the wind?
Yes, exactly. But of course, it's just a hypothesis or an...
Educated guess.
Thank you. But now with a spy drone... a bird drone in their midst.
They can find out, they hope, Clever.
That's the idea. But right now, the bird drones are currently being tested indoors in a special big cage at the university, first before being let out in the wild.
Well, folks, watch this space. And remember, when you're telling your teacher all about bird drones, don't forget to say you heard it here first on Newsy Paloozy.
Are we ready to play ball?
Sports news.
So this is way more than just a sports story.
Oh yeah, it's way more than just a story about winning and losing for over 3 decades and finally winning again.
Totally. It's about pride, corruption,
And the mob. And how do I say this about, well, relics of hair? Like strands of someone's hair you might not know personally, but who you love. So you keep them on a wall of your cafe for other fans to adore.
This story has everything. And we have a correspondent at the heart of the story in Naples, Italy.
Who has seen the strands of hair? Oh yeah, she has.
So let's cut across to Ananya Kazman in Italy for the story.
Take it away, Ananya.
Thanks, Leela. So you know people in many parts of the world are completely crazy about soccer, right? And most local teams, known as their football club, that's what they call soccer, is more than just a team. It's like the city's identity, their pride, especially for a place like Naples, which hasn't always been treated very nicely by the rest of the country. See, for years, the southern Italian city has been a lot poorer than other parts of Italy. And sometimes when the team has played in northern cities like Milan or Turin, those fans would hold up signs saying, "Welcome to Italy." Not cool. So imagine how the people of Naples have felt with their football club, Napoli, losing for more than 3 decades. Not a good feeling. Especially when they had been so excited in the 1990s to have the #1 soccer player in the world, Diego Maradona, join their team and take it to victory. Sadly, it was short-lived. Soon, there were all sorts of rumors about him taking drugs and being associated with mobsters. Not surprisingly, the team's morale quickly sank, along with the club's finances, and a losing streak set in for 33 years. That's tough for a city that lives for football. I visited a cafe that has strands of Maradona's hair kept lovingly in a plastic case in a shrine with tons of his photographs. The owner said, "The first thing we think about when we wake up is not work. We think of the team. It's in our blood." So no wonder the city went wild when they finally won the Scudetto National Championships. And when I say wild, I don't just mean balloons and cheering. I mean full-on firecrackers, honkers, smoke bombs, and all-night parties. I admit, it was a little overwhelming, but pretty special too. In Italy, I'm Ananya Kazman, reporting for Newsy Paloozy.
Thank you so much, Ananya. I wish I'd been there with you.
What's that? I'll tell you what. That's the halftime bell, which means it's time to hear what's making news around the rest of the world. Hold on tight. It's
Around the World in 80 Seconds.
Hold tight.
It's heating up in Southeast Asia as the region swelters under weeks of record-breaking temperatures. All-time highs were recorded in Vietnam, Laos, and Thailand. Experts say these heat waves are only likely to become more frequent. A young British man pleads guilty in New York to a role in one of the biggest hacks in social media history. In July 2020, the man known as Plug Walk Joe hacked 130 Twitter accounts, including those of Barack Obama and Joe Biden. More soccer news. It's official. Pele is now a word in the Portuguese dictionary to describe someone out of the ordinary. Yes, Pele, as in the Brazilian 3-time World Cup champion, who many consider the best soccer player that ever lived. And in Japan, a mixed breed dog is being hailed a hero after she saved the life of a man who was having a heart attack at a horse riding school. How? By sounding the alarm when the man was struggling to breathe with her incessant barking, of course. It's time for... It's the call of nature.
Nature.
Get on your safari suit
Or squeeze into your scuba gear.
and get ready to hop into a Jeep.
Or a submarine.
Submarine.
Because Mother Nature is calling.
Nature.
And it's big news for nature lovers. A previously unknown creature has been discovered.
Yes, but maybe not such good news for those who like to swim in the ocean. No, we're not talking sharks, but something altogether more ghostly.
I think these are some of the most stunning creatures on Earth, but yeah, I wouldn't want to necessarily encounter one while wading in the water.
Okay, let's cut across to our science correspondent, Nandini Parekh, for more on this story.
For anyone who's ever been swimming in oceans, there's one thing that can make you swim back to shore quickly. The sight of jellyfish. Or worse, the feeling of it stinging you. Ouch! Well, take a deep breath. Because researchers in Hong Kong have found a new type of box jellyfish in Chinese waters. And if you've never seen a jellyfish before, well, they look like ghosts in water. Or, as its name suggests, a blob of jelly blobbing along the water. But, make no mistake, these creatures can sting. In fact, box jellyfish are also known as sea wasps. Did you know? Luckily, this newly discovered type is quite tiny, but still has 12 long tentacles. These tentacles not only help jellyfish move along the water, but also paralyze its prey, like zap. But the coolest part is that it has 24 eyes all over its body. Creepy. Scientists don't know if the newly discovered jellyfish stings humans or not. Perhaps our brave listeners or one of our courageous hosts may volunteer in the name of science. Just kidding. I'm Nandini Parekh reporting for Newsy Poo Lucy.
Are you kidding? Not me, no ma'am.
Nor me. I love looking at jellyfish, but behind glass, thank you very much. Thanks, Nandini.
And finally, let's see what the Lucky Dip Machine has for us this week.
Step right up.
Step right up.
Have a go at the Lucky Dip Machine.
The Lucky Dip Machine.
What's it going to do today, eh?
An oddball, no
An
doubt.
oddball, no doubt.
No doubt for sure. Play the music, Mama. Once upon a time, just the other day, sailors from the Spanish Navy set out on an important mission. To make a nautical map. Nautical as in anything to do with the sea. Sailing or sailors, in case you didn't know. Of what you ask? A tricky patch of water that suddenly becomes shallow. Off the coast of the Spanish island Ibiza. As they set out to achieve their goal, they lost their way and got stuck in the elevated areas of land underwater, called the shallows. And they had to be rescued, didn't they? Oh, but the story gets better, because guess what the name of their boat was called? Malaspina, named after a Spanish Navy brigadier famous for leading the largest 18th century scientific expedition around the globe. Ironic, no? Then again, the name can also be translated as having a bad feeling. So maybe it was the right name for the boat after all.
And it's time to wrap up the podcast with the top 5 facts heard today. Fab fact number 1. A A team of U.S. scientists and taxidermists are turning dead birds into drones to study flight patterns in hopes of helping the aviation industry. And what is taxidermy? The art of preparing, stuffing, and mounting the skin of animals. Fab fact number 2.
This uses something called, which one? Bioinspiration, bioengineering, or reverse engineering? All 3!
Fab fact number 3. Naples celebrates after its football club, Napoli, wins its first Series A championship in 33 years. What country is Naples in? Italy. Fab fact number 4.
A new species of box jellyfish with 24 eyes is discovered in the Chinese waters. What is the nickname for this type of jellyfish? Sea wasps.
Fab fact number 5. A Spanish Navy ship on a mission to draw up a nautical map loses its way in the shallows off the island of Ibiza. What are shallows? Elevated areas of underwater land where it's not deep. And hello, teachers. If you're an educator and you want to test your kids' listening skills, then have a look at the text version of this quiz by going to the Lucky Dip blog page of our website, newsypooloozy.com. That's Pooloozy as in, a swimming pool of news, so POOLOOZI.com. And let the kids take this quiz online or surprise them with a pop quiz in class.
And that almost brings us to the end of this episode of Newsy Paloozy. But first, OMG, Nathan, thank you.
Yes, we got a very sweet mail from a listener called Nathan, who said not only that he loves our podcast, thank you, but he hopes Leela gets better soon. How cool is that?
Totally cool. That's so cool. If you enjoyed this dip in the coolest pool of news and information, then smash that subscribe button on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Alexa, or wherever you get your podcasts.
While you're at it, give us a good rating, or better still, leave us a review and we'll read it out loud if you do.
Alrighty then. See you next week in the happy splashy giant Newsy Paloozy.